Okay, welcome to the morning show. It is Friday, and I'm just switching over now to the heartbeat of the Tri-County. Of course, Friday, July the 8th.
Would disrupt their lives even more. I'm Charles Tilladesma.
And I'm Rita Foley.
Just missed it. It was about COVID and the vaccine.
63 degrees at 7:31. Here's a look at WCDO News. State Department of Health updated New Yorkers on their strategy to the current monkeypox outbreak. In accordance with the CDC guidance, the department released vaccine eligibility for the initial doses coming from the federal government, prioritizing communities with the highest level of need. They'll continue to communicate with providers and local county health departments, expand access to resources, and encourage increased testing and treatment of suspected monkeypox cases. More information is available at health.ny.gov. The Otsego County Board of Representatives have hired former Schoharie County Administrator Steve Wilson as the new Otsego County Administrator. Wilson will begin serving in his new position on August 8th. Governor Kathy Hochul announced the availability of $255 million in state grants for critical water infrastructure projects that will protect public health and the environment through the state's water infrastructure improvement programs. The announcement marks the latest action to upgrade New York's water and sewer systems, reduce water pollution, and safeguard drinking water supplies from emerging contaminants and toxic chemicals. Hospice and Palliative Care of Shenango County announced their 2022 Home Aid Sale, which will be held later this year. Hospice spokesperson Sarah Green told WCDO News what kind of homemade items they're looking for in this fundraiser.
We are looking for kind of anything, everything homemade. So some of the popular items are lace mats, table runners, adult and children's hats and scarves, decorations for all seasons, not just Christmas, but everything, wood-crafted items, children's toys, dish towels, cards and paper items, kind of just about everything homemade.
Items must be into hospice by September 1st. The sales will be held at the hospice location on Court Street in Norwich on October 15th from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. In WCDO Sports, yesterday, Major League Baseball, Mets beat up on Miami 10-0. Yankees get past Boston 6-5. In the minors, Portland 16, Binghamton 1. Tri-County forecast, sunny today, the high 80. Tonight, cloudy, low 60. The weekend, sunny both days, the high 80. Monday, sunny, the high 85. Tuesday, partly sunny. Chance of showers and thunderstorms, the high 85 to 90. Right now, 63 degrees. For WCDO Radio News, I'm Rob Ray.
The songs that you want to hear
you, Rob
on
Ray.
the Tri-County
I'm on the road now. I'm in mobile
WCDO.
mode and heading to the Gulf gas station. It's only a question of whether I'm going to basically sing whatever they're playing or switch it off to Bluetooth and the songs on YouTube. What do they got? I'm going to switch it up. Yeah, I'm going to switch it up. See what we got over here at YouTube. This is Ronan Keating with, the song from the 1999 film Notting Hill, When You Say Nothing at All.
It's amazing how you can speak right to my heart. Without saying a word, you can light up the dark. Try as I may, I can never explain what I hear when you don't say a thing. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. All day long I can hear people talking out loud. But me wherever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all.
Now, my sister H down there in Tennessee, she actually said that Allison says it best, Alison Krauss, with her cover version of it. I haven't had that one on the program in a long time. Of late, it's mostly been Gustavo Trabian with his acoustic cover of When You Say Nothing at All. You can find him out on YouTube. And switching back to the heartbeat of the Tri-County.
And the most music variety for your workday.
Okay, they're still in commercial break, so we'll switch off to whatever I have right here. Oh, JT, ladies and gentlemen.
In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Maybe just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind. Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Karen, she's a silver sun. You best walk her away and watch it shine. Watch her watch the morning come. A silver tear appearing now. I'm crying. Ain't I gone to Carolina in my mind? There ain't no doubt in no one's mind. Love to find, stay around. Whisper something soft and kind. And hey, baby, the sky's on fire. I'm dying. Ain't I gone to Carolina in my mind? In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Maybe just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind. Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Dark inside, late last night, I think I might have heard the highway calling. Geese in flight, dogs at bite. The signs that might be omens say I'm going, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. With a holy host of others standing around me. Still I'm on the dark side of the moon. And it seems like it goes on like this forever. You must forgive me if I'm up and gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Maybe just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind.
legendary James Taylor is posted by he out there in YouTube. Now, I'm going all right. I'm going to my job in a few minutes, but that's a wonderful thing to get you started in the right frame of mind, I feel, before your job. Is a great song like that. How about that? Great John Denver with one of the two state anthems of the great state of Colorado. Do you know the other one? Give me a call. That is 573-680-0356. Be the third person to call with the name of the other Colorado song. And, well, I have a special prize just for you, my fine listener. And I'll be right back in just a moment. You're listening to The Morning Show.
Sunny skies today, the high 80. Tonight, cloudy, low around 60. Saturday and Sunday, sunny, the high 80. Monday, sunny, the high 85. Tuesday, partly sunny. Maybe some thunderstorms, the high near 90. Right now, 64 degrees at WCDO.
That's the exact temperature that I've got on Malibu's main display, 64 degrees. Beautiful morning here upstate New York, early July morning. I'll finish off the morning with one more tune, and then it's off to my job. All right, I hope you guys remember this one, an oldie but a goodie, taking you way back to the early 80s. It was featured on General Hospital. That's right. This is Patty Austin and James Ingram with Baby Come to Me.
Thinking back in time when love was only in my mind, I realized ain't no second chance. You got to hold on to romance. Don't let it slide. There's a special kind of magic in the air when you find another heart that needs to share. Baby, come to me. Let me put my arms around you. This was meant to be. And I'm also glad I found you. Need you every day. Gotta have your love around me, baby. Always stay. 'Cause I can't go back to living without you. Spending every time to keep you talking on the line. That's how it was. And all those walks together, out in any kind of weather, just because there's a brand new way of looking at your life when you know that love is standing by your side. Come to me. Put my arms around you. This was meant to be. I'm also glad I found you. 'Cause you let me down. Gotta have your love around me, baby. Always stay. 'Cause I can't go back to living without you. The night can be cold. There's a chill every evening when you're all alone. Don't talk anymore. 'Cause you know that I'll be here to keep you warm. Come to me. Put my arms around you. This was meant to be. And I'm also glad I found you. Need you every day. Gotta have your love around me, baby. Always stay. 'Cause I can't go back to living without you. Come to me. Let me put my arms around you. This was meant to be. And I'm also glad I found you. Need you every day. Gotta have your love around me, baby. Always stay. 'Cause I can't go back to living without you. Come to me. Put my arms around you. This was meant to be. And I'm also glad I found you. Need you every day.
Yeah, that makes me think of General Hospital, makes me think of Luke Spencer, makes me think of Laura Spencer. I'm only kidding. I got to get to my job. This, of course, from the YouTube site official Christopher Cross with his huge hit, Think of Laura. I'll be back later on. Thank you. That's right. It's lunchtime, folks. And once again, lunchtime with the oldies, with the heartbeat of the Tri-County. Just say this about that. Sir Elton John, of course, co-writer of the music for The Lion King, says that the true spirit of The Lion King continues to this very day at the Minskoff Theater in New York City, where, as you're aware, The Lion King breaking all sorts of records. And with that, I'd usually just roll right off into A Circle of Life, or Can You Feel the Love Tonight, either one, by Sir Elton John. You know, no disrespect to, you know, Craig Stevens, the heart of the Yeah, there's one problem with that. That song needs to be coming out over Malibu's main speaker system. Malibu, what an amazing vehicle, has an amazing sound system, so that's just not going to work. Much better, much better.
There's a calm surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of a rolling wind can't be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can you feel the love tonight? Is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. kaleidoscope moves us all in turn. There's a rhyme and reason to the wild outdoors. When the heart of the star-crossed Voyager beats in time with yours. And can you feel the love tonight? Is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderers that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How this led to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best.
From his official music video posted out there at Disney Music Vivo, Sir Elton John with Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and then back.
Freeze check, get a New York State inspection, or have B&M repair shocks, brakes, and exhaust. You can always count on Mike and the boys to keep your vehicle running. Same-day appointments
All
are
right,
always
I'll be still a
available.
commercial break there with a commercial for Mike and the boys, and I'll be right back in a moment. You're listening to The Morning Show. Oh, they got some Beatles activity going on there at the heartbeat of the Tri-County. That's right, with Lunchtime with the Oldies, an old song, clearly from the 60s, the Beatles. I don't want it to be on here because I probably will make a YouTube video of today's show, and, well, it'll get nailed by the ID content system over there at YouTube. And not only, will it say, fine, it notes the song, you can't monetize, which I don't. It'll also say your entire video is being blocked unless you trim it out and put something else in its place. And I don't really want to do that. But I did want to talk. I usually, when I'm here, I talk about headlines from like USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Daily News that are in the Gulf, gas station. And today they honor, a Hollywood legend. And so, yes, I would say they definitely big letters, farewell to an icon, the late, great James Caan, being honored by the Daily News today. And yes, of course, well known for his role as Sonny Corleone in The Godfather, as well as his role as Brian Piccolo in Brian's Song, a great movie as well. And, of course, his role in Misery, where he played Paul, the writer, Paul Sheldon, the one that wrote the Misery books, co-star Kathy Bates, who won an Academy Award for her role as Annie, the psycho that, fan-obsessed psycho woman that, previously involved in some foul play in the past, who basically broke both his ankles. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Very difficult for me to say it, but broke both his ankles. And, you guys know all about the movie Misery. I'm sure you do. What's that, like 1990? Again, I've seen that movie too. I've seen all three of the movies I just mentioned and other James Caan shows I have. And now I'm going to do Elton John. I've seen that movie too. No, I'm not. I'm basically going to switch it off once again to some other tune on here. And it could be anything at all. Like this great song by Seals and Crofts. It was the July Song of the Month in 2020 as voted on. Actually, that's wrong. It wasn't voted on back then in 2020. There was no vote for Song of the Month at Apartment Karaoke. I selected it.
I see the curtains hanging in the window in the evening on a Friday night. Little light is shining through the window, lets me know everything's alright. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing the
year, 2021, it was a song by the artist Natty called July. And this year, well, it's Saturday in the Park by Chicago, a great song, again, as voted on by you, the listener. This year, definitely, that's the way it is. You vote. I don't have any say in it unless there's a tie, and there was not a tie this month. This is Bruce Hornsby. And that's the way it is on this Friday, July the 8th, with Bruce Hornsby and the Range. Anyway, that's a fantastic tune. Now I'm going to do a mandolin rain. No, I'm not. But basically, tonight on the show, I'll have a story about Trump. Now, if you recall, for those of you that listen to my program, perhaps the Sunday Sunrise, I had this thing on Sunday. I did when Trump, back in July of 19, when he came after the squad, attacked the squad, those 4 woman congressmen, and, well, a guy who gave a death threat email to Representative Omar has received his sentence. That's right. He has received his sentence from the judge in the case, and pretty light sentence, a few years probation and a $7,000 fine for sending a death threat to Representative Omar. And Billy will get to you in a second. This is, of course, Billy Joel with his huge hit song from the album Glass Houses with All for Lena. But just to say, I'll have this story tonight. And, well, he changed his mind. Now he's no longer supporting Trump. His daughter, Elizabeth, she said Trump's to blame because he was following her. The man, he was following Trump when he wrote the email threatening the life of Representative Omar. And yes, I talked about it July the 4th of 2020. This past weekend, of course, I had a July the 4th show on Sunday in which I did a time travel back to July the 4th of 2020. And I heard what I had to say about Trump's remarks then, standing up for the squad. And I'll have the full story tonight, including what the man said that resulted in his prosecution. And again, I think he got off not scot-free, but a relatively light sentence, probation, no jail time. And his attorney did a great job. His attorney, Mr. Perry, did a great job getting him off the hook, you understand, for, his threatening letter to the representative. Okay, Billy, go. Great tune there, Billy. I had a story by Ultimate Classic Rock last week. They said Billy, he got toughened up after the 1980 album Glass Houses. lot of great tunes, some of them, guitar driven, that would play better in larger arenas. That's what Billy Joel said. He absolutely did. Well known as being a balladeer of, love songs and stuff like that. Those kind of songs, they don't play as well in a large arena. That's what Billy said. And so they got some great tunes there. Don't ask me why. Yes, that's one of them. Of course, you may be right. I may be crazy, but I just may be the lunatic you're looking for. That's right. I got to get back to my job, folks. Again, I'll have that story tonight about the guy who, well, he got his comeuppance, so to speak. I'll be right back. All right, it's Friday night and the weekend has begun. I'm very excited about that.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Those happy days are here again. I'll have a story about happy days. Once again, the Anson Williams, who portrayed Potsy and Pump Your Blood. It's been months since I've done that on the show. Now, today I did it for Dr. C, you understand. Now, Dr. C is a cardiologist who hails from India. He never heard Happy Days back in India. And so I explained it to him. I explained it all about Potsy, Richie, Ralph, the Fonz, Mr. and Mrs. C. And I asked the man, is it okay if I call you Dr. C? And he said, no, that's fine. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. And so, too, talking to other women in my department, they've all been calling him Dr. C already. So his name is Dr. C. So I was in his office, and I said, I'd like to share something with you. And so I proceeded to, drag it out like I'm doing right now. And then I opened up YouTube and played, the Pump Your Blood bit. Potsy singing it in the classroom back there. That's right. In the suburbs of Milwaukee. They were all there for whatever reason in the class. Richie was there. Ralph Mouth was there. The Fonz was there. Joni was there. I think Chachi was there too. Anyway, they did it. So I played it in his office, and he was very impressed with this thing. Potsy Weber, an A++. The man knows the heart. All the chambers, all the valves, etc. The arteries, the veins. Great job by Potsy Weber. So I'll do that bit tonight on the program again, as I've done it before. I have a story about the Beatles. And so, this is going to be a really good one. I'm looking forward to it. Paul McCartney's belated recognition about John Lennon's role in the Beatles. Belated. I mean, that's years ago. Of course, John has been gone since like 1980, but apparently that's what it says here. And I'm sure this is not the first time that Sir Paul McCartney has, given a tip of his hat to his old bandmate John Lennon, but that's fine. It's from rockcelebrities.net. Now, I have had stories about the Beatles before on the program, and, probably the one that I like the most is the one where it was said by someone out there that the only time that the late, great John Lennon ever complimented Paul was for the song Here, There, and Everywhere, a fantastic song that I was very happy, very pleased to have on my first Love album for Faye, Here, There, and Everywhere, version 2. It's the one that includes the bird chirping, or some might call it actual bird singing, to begin the song, kind of a little intro, the song, and then a second bird singing outro, and it's a fantastic thing. That's why I put it on for Faye. ... And my second Love album, I had a song from Paul called My Love. I had a song from John Lennon called Woman, and I had a Beatles song called Something, which was written by the late, great George Harrison, a song which Frank Sinatra once said was the greatest love song of the 20th century. And coming from Frank Sinatra, well, that's pretty darn good. And so I was happy to have Something on my second Love album buffet. Now, lately I've been talking a little bit about this whole thing with these, bringing my internet-based radio show onto the YouTube platform. Again, the videos aren't much, but just basically what it is on apartmentkaraoke.com, the audio portion of the show. But when you go into YouTube, if you put a Beatles song out there, your video is going to be, blocked. It's going to be banned, and then I would have to trim it out so that the other songs and as well the stories that I'm going to talk about can go on to YouTube. So I've had to do a little bit of that. Same thing holds true for the Eagles. Those of you that listen to my show, you know that I love the Eagles. So I'll talk about that. I also have this story that came to me. I'm trying to figure out who it was that sent it to me in terms of, in the background, the song that I did earlier today, but with Ronan. Yeah, Ronan Keating. from the 1999 film Notting Hill, this time done by Gustavo Trabian, acoustical cover version, fantastic version of it, and I've done that one a number of times as well, both of them, the Ronan Keating version and the Gustavo Trabian version. But yeah, this whole thing about this guy that was sentenced by a judge, for his threatening racist email to Representative Omar of Minnesota. And as I mentioned at lunch, his comeuppance, that's what he got in the sentence from the judge. I will read tonight my Facebook post concerning it. Yeah, I just posted the story that I'm going to read in full, as well as, of course, my feelings about it to my friends in Facebook. Yeah, I wrote a short essay on the thing. Sometimes I do that. Anyway, I'll be back in a moment with the Happy Days story, the pump your blood, thing again in a moment. You're listening to The Morning Show. All right, so Potsy's teacher, I'm doing the routine, yeah. Potsy's teacher, I'm just going to call him the professor. The professor didn't think that Potsy did his homework, didn't think that Potsy knew the anatomy and physiology of the heart, and that's not true. Potsy doesn't learn from textbooks, from lectures. He learns through music and lyrics, and really it's better if Richie Cunningham explained.
He knows this material better than anybody in this class, and he didn't learn it from you or your intimidating methods. He learned it from something he could relate to.
Weber can relate to something?
Now, just a minute. Yeah, that's right. He relates to music and lyrics.
Yeah. Charming, but impossible.
All right, hold it.
Like they say in Home Ec 101, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, let us show you some pudding. Let him show you.
Why don't you give him a chance?
Go ahead.
All right, now, like we rehearsed it. Mouth, get the bones.
Got it.
All right, Rich, you got your harmonica there. Hey, Jennifer, beaker, right? Got your kazoo there?
Yeah.
All right. This tune is called Pump Your Blood. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Pump, 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 pump your blood. The right atrium's where the process begins, where the CO2 blood enters the heart. Through the tricuspid valve to the right ventricle, the pulmonary artery and lungs. Once inside the lungs, it dumps its carbon dioxide and picks up its oxygen supply. Then it's back to the heart, through the pulmonary vein, through the atrium and left ventricle. Pump your blood. Your blood. The aortic valves where the blood leaves the heart and it's channeled to the rest of the body. The arteries, arterioles, and capillaries too bring the oxygenated blood to the cells. The tissues in the cells feed off waste and CO2, which is carried through the venules and the veins. The larger vena cava to the atrium and lungs, and we're back to where we started in the heart.
It's like being in the Ziegfeld Follies!
Well, Professor.
Weber, I apologize. I'm giving you an A. A+.
The professor with a little prompting from the Fonz. Yeah, he deserves an A+ for that thing. I've talked about Happy Days before. Sometimes I talk about the Fonz and jumping the shark, how it came to be that Henry Winkler did that. Well, he did it because he knew how to water ski. They asked him, what can you do? And I said, well, I can water ski. Okay, why don't we do this jump over the shark? And then it became into the lexicon and meaning something in terms of when you do something, and after that, things just steadily, go downhill after that. It's like the top of the nadir or whatever. You jump the shark, Now, what was the jump the shark moment on Welcome Back Kotter? There was none. There was no jumping the shark moment on Happy Days either. Fantastic television show before Fonzie jumped the shark, when he did it, as he did it, and then after that is just fine. And then sometimes I segue off of that and I talk about Jaws, bring out the music, by John Williams, do a little of this, a little bit of that. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun to me. All right, so that's really the thing. I'm moving on from the thing. Fantastic television show, the Sweat Hogs and everything. And, of course, Mr. Kotter and the whole bit. Anyway, I'll be back with, I guess I'm going to go on to that thing about the guy that got his comeuppance sentenced by the judge today for his threatening email to a member of the House of Representatives in just a moment. Here's a funny news story. Oath Keeper leader agrees that he will testify to the select committee, but only if it can be on live TV. In other words, so he can have all the exposure to mouth all of his extremist ideology before the American people. That's not what the select committee is about. They're not going to agree to this guy's plan. Again, these radical groups, the Three Percenters, the Oath Keepers, the Boogaloo Boys, whatever they are, the Proud Boys, again, dangerous people, as so mentioned by the Department of Homeland Security. They are a dangerous threat. And so I'm going to continue on with this thing, and it kind of ties in with everything that I've been talking about Trump and, of course, the failed insurrection of January the 6th of last year. And so that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm waiting for this thing to open up. Now, in the background, you hear the Patriot music posted out there by Steph Junko is the name of the individual in YouTube. I thank them for that. It's nice to have something like that in the background. All right, so this one's by The Hill, thehill.com, a fine source of news. The writer's name is not provided. I do normally like to give the proper attribution. Former Trump supporter sentenced to probation for threatening to kill squad members. So a man threatens to kill members of the House of Representatives, and he's basically let off lightly with probation and a monetary fine, to say nothing of his attorney fees and his court costs that he'll have to pick up now. Yep. A former Trump supporter received a 3-year probation sentence and a $7,000 fine on Wednesday after sending an email to Representative Omar from Minnesota to her campaign staff in which he threatened to kill her and other squad members. United States District Judge Catherine Kimball Mizell also directed the man, David George Hannon, to refrain from having alcohol, enroll in a substance abuse program and mental health treatment program, and refrain from contacting Representative Omar. Now, her campaign received an email from Mr. Hannon in 2019 that threatened her and other lawmakers associated with the so-called Squad, a group of progressive lawmakers that also includes Representatives Ocasio-Cortez, Tlaib, and Presley. Okay, so basically I'm going to read this. Now, for those of you kind folks out there that don't like hate language, I'm warning you. I'm going to read the man's letter verbatim as provided here, and if that bothers you, you might want to just kind of turn this down for a few seconds, but I'm going to do it. So here's how it starts off. You're dead, you radical Muslim, the subject line of the email from Hannon. It says, you won't hear the bullet going through your or their heads. All 4 of you congresswomen will die, and the American people will cheer. Patriots against Islam, God bless America. Part of the email also says, according to the news outlet, other things that are not provided. The email came after a news conference in which members of the Squad addressed former President Trump's comment telling them to go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came. Mr. Hannon, in court on Wednesday, said, I'm very, very sorry and very remorseful about my behavior that night. It says that, according to the Times, the man, he had grappled with alcoholism and the death of his wife from cancer. He said, I can't believe I would do something as heinous as that. And then his daughter said he was doing that because Trump told him to. He was a Trump supporter, and now he regrets it. Michael Perry, a lawyer for Mr. Hannon said in a statement to The Hill that they were satisfied with the sentencing. Mr. Perry said, "We are happy with the sentencing decision and believe it was a just result. There were many reasons for the judge to downward depart from the guideline sentence of 10 months. The fact that the FBI and the United States Attorney's Office delayed in the prosecution of this case evidences that no one believed Mr. Hannon was a real threat. Mr. Hannon is very embarrassed and ashamed of his conduct and certainly would never, ever send such an email to anyone again." And that's good news. Okay, so there's the article from thehill.com. It's the first time I had learned about this thing. Now, I've had other things on this program before that are very disturbing. For example, the man who left the hateful voicemail on the phone of Officer Fanone, a patriot in his own right, as well as the other officers there at the Capitol January 6th, the Capitol Police and the Metro Police, heroes in my eyes, and they came under fire that day for sure. You know, maybe not rounds of automatic fire, but they were attacked with violence. Clearly where people were hurt, people died, they broke through windows, and they used other objects as weapons. And, well, they were armed. Thank heavens there was no, people killed, with assault weapons or anything like that, as we've seen way too much of late. Now, Trump, according to news reports and the Select Committee, he was well aware of the fact that they were armed. He wanted the magnetometers, the metal detectors, turned off into his rally at the Ellipse, which preceded the failed insurrection on January 6th. Yeah, he wanted them let in. That testimony was provided by Ms. Hutchinson, former White House staffer. And he wanted them let in with those weapons, and then he wanted them to march to the Capitol. And then surprisingly, we learned that he wanted to go there himself, but he was not allowed to by the Secret Service. At least that's the thing. Now, I was saying for months that the guy ran back to the White House and watched it all unfold on TV with glee. That's right. But it turns out the man actually did want to go and lead his failed insurrection at the Capitol, but he wasn't afforded that opportunity. That's right, he was stopped by the Secret Service, is my understanding as to how that occurred. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to read my little Facebook essay, and that will close the deal on this thing. The man's wife sadly died of cancer, and so he finds solace at the bottom of a bottle and in listening to Trump's hateful rhetoric, and presumably those of his most vociferous supporters and enablers in the right-wing media zeitgeist. Now, as he's sentenced by a judge for his hateful, threatening, and racist email, which he sent to a member of the squad, his daughter says that it was Trump who led him to it, saying he was doing that because Trump told him to. He was a Trump supporter, and he now regrets it. The old Trump made me do it excuse, which, of course, has also been used with limited success as a legal strategy by some of the 800-plus defendants in the case of the failed insurrection of January 6th at the United States Capitol last year by people who, like Mr. Hanlon, were also Trump supporters at the time. Some still are, but for some others, the hangover of the next day and its consequences rang home true at some point after their apprehension by law enforcement for the crimes of January 6th, for which they were accused by the Justice Department, and now they repudiate Trump. Some thought Trump would have their back. Maybe they could get a get-out-of-jail-free card in the form of a pardon from the disgraced former president. Well, obviously that didn't happen. Some of these defendants of January 6th likewise claimed to be brainwashed by Trump. Others claimed they were being brainwashed by Fox News and other right-wing media outlets. A few actually had the guts to accept responsibility and blame for their own actions. Anyway, you'll perhaps recall in one of the more memorable and vicious attacks of his presidency that it was Donald Trump who attacked the squad back in July 2019, suggesting that they hated America and that they should go home and challenge their patriotism and their mental acuity, meaning he called them stupid or dumb or some such disparagement. As I mentioned on Sunday's program, of the 4 House members called the squad, all were born in the USA, with the exception of Representative Omar, who was born in Somalia and is now a naturalized U.S. citizen and represents the fine people of Minnesota in Congress, having won re-election in November 2020. Unlike Trump, who was voted out of office by the American people and has been lying about it ever since in what has become widely known as the big lie. If you happen to have the time and interest to read this story, you'll find that Mr. Hannon is now sincerely sorry. Good. He no longer supports Trump, and therefore he is let off easy by the kind judge with a few years of probation and a $7,000 fine, which is a large amount of moolah for me, but who knows, maybe not so much for Mr. Hannon. Of course, there's also the matter of his legal bills that need to be paid, including court costs and the fee for his criminal defense attorney, Mr. Perry, who did a fantastic job of representing him and keeping his client out of jail. That guy probably makes a lot of moolah. Okay, and that's my essay that I posted to my friends in Facebook. And now a musical interlude. I think I'm going to go Jackson Browne with Lawyers in Love, a song that I haven't done in really quite a long time here on the program. So here he is. Tuned by Jackson Brown, of course, ties in with all that lawyerly legal stuff from the story I just read, as well, of course, it mentions Happy Days, so that kind of ties in well with the first story about, the pump your blood routine. I'll be right back in just a moment. You're listening to The Morning Show. Okay, a couple of other Patsy Weber stories. Of course, the actor Anson Williams. The man is planning to run for office out there in California. He's going for mayor of Ojai. So I'm going to actually read that story. Yeah, I thought I'd, research. So I typed in Anson Williams to see, hey, is this guy doing anything lately I can talk about? And wow, one day ago, he just announced, this from the Los Angeles Times, Patsy for mayor? Happy Days alum Anson Williams is running for office in Ojai. Now, I've never been there, I don't think. I've been out to California a few times, but I've never been to Ojai. I remember it as the home of Jamie Summers from The Bionic Woman, and I guess I saw maybe some of it on TV. But Patsy for mayor? Really? Happy Days actor Anson Williams is planning to run for office in his hometown of Ojai, California. The actor-director who played Richie Cunningham's best friend, Patsy Weber, on the classic ABC sitcom starting in the 1970s, announced his candidacy. It was actually back on June 28th at an Ojai City Council meeting, according to the Ojai Valley News. He made the remarks during the public comment portion of the meeting and said that the Ventura County City needs leadership that inspires a collaborative team. The publication also noted that candidates for all offices can formally declare candidacy on July 18th by pulling papers at the city clerk's office for city races or with the county clerk for races outside the city. Williams would be against Ojai Mayor Betsy Styx, who is running for re-election. Hey, her name's spelled just like the rock band Styx. Maybe I should do a Styx song. Now I better not. The 72-year-old joins the likes of other entertainers with late career political ambitions, including singer-turned-Palm Springs Mayor Sonny Bono, filmmaker and former Carmel, California Mayor Clint Eastwood, and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, Anson has not formally announced his candidacy on social media, and representatives for him did not immediately respond to the request for information from the Los Angeles Times. However, Barry star Henry Winkler, who famously played the Fonz on Happy Days, has endorsed him. "You have my vote," Winkler tweeted Wednesday, replying to KABC TV reporter George Pinocchio's tweet about Anson Williams' potential run. After Happy Days wrapped, way back there in 1984, Anson continued to work in Hollywood, largely behind the scenes as a producer and a director, while notching a number of guest roles. In 1995, he told The Times that the show's executive producer, Gary Marshall, encouraged his stars, including Ron Howard and Henry Winkler, to study all aspects of filmmaking. Now, that reminds me of another story about Anson Williams. Did you know he's related to the guy that invented the Heimlich maneuver? Dr. Heimlich, that's right. Heimlich is a part of the man's history and a part of his family. And it's just an interesting story that I had back, I don't know, I think it might have been the first wave of the pandemic back in 2020. I had the story. Oh, because the Heimlich thing, they also had this spray that was supposed to keep you awake. That's it. Let's say you had a long drive, you were driving all night long. Some people recommend coffee or whatever, frequent stops. They got this spray. It has to do with lemon juice. You spray it on your face, I guess. Hopefully not while you're driving. I get this stuff in your eyes and burn. It'd be very dangerous. But the spray is supposed to protect you from falling asleep at the wheel. And I thought that was an interesting story as well. There's always lots of great stories. So anyway, yes, he opened the doors. It says here, he opened the doors of the Paramount lot so we could watch other directors direct. They're talking about, Gary Marshall and mentoring of Ron Howard and Henry Winkler. He opened the doors. They could watch. They could see what they were doing, Anson Williams said. He thought it was very important for all of us to learn all sides of the business because we may not be acting all of our lives. We were young and we didn't know what we wanted to do, so maybe another area would inspire us. So Anson produced the hit 1980 NBC movie Skyward, directed by Ron Howard, and starring Betty Davis. Maybe I should do a Betty Davis Eyes, the Kim Carnes number. Now, maybe not. Anyway, he went on to direct the acclaimed Lone Star Kid for PBS, No Greater Gift for ABC, and Sequest for NBC. I've seen that one before. That's a pretty cool show. As well as several episodes of Star Trek Voyager and Deep Space Nine. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. You guys know that if you follow my show. He also worked on Melrose Place, Beverly Hills 90210, Baywatch, and Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. Oh, that's a fantastic story by the Los Angeles Times and written by Nardine Saad. I thank Nardine, and I will be right back in just a moment with Timothy B. Schmidt and Friday Night. Yes, it's an apartment karaoke tradition. I've been doing it every Friday night for years now, a Friday night with Timothy B. Schmidt. Okay, so Friday night. Now, last Friday night, that would be the 1st of July, I actually did a time travel back to Memorial Day weekend and that Friday night. And, I double-tracked it. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just do, without double-tracking it, just straight up. And other times I go to different times. For example, in this case, I'm going back to my birthday in 2021, July 23rd. Here we go. Time travel. And we welcome Timothy B. Schmidt on Friday night, an apartment karaoke tradition.
Conversation, we need to take a break, and I don't want to fight. Hand, a minor revelation, let's deal with it later, 'cause it's Friday night. All week, we've been working so hard, and now it's time to kick back and set our sights. We can make it pretty simple, put it on the back burner. It's a Friday night. Feel that moon breeze floating through the window. Sure do like it this way. Something tells me this is the way to go. I've got a few things to say. Slip into your best dress, paint your lips red. Open up your blue eyes, forget the things we said. I could be your lover, you can shine the light. Let's fire up the candle, it's a Friday night. Let's go look for hidden treasure. I wanna dig it up while the moon is bright. No more living under pressure. Gotta see your eyes sparkle. It's a Friday night. Roll that big world right off your shoulders. I will try to do the same. If we don't act now, we'll simply grow older. Another faded picture in a frame. Button up your blue jeans, tumble down your hair. Take a look around, we can do it anywhere. You can be my princess, I'll be what you like. Let's run around the palace, it's a Friday night. Woo! it this way. Something tells me this is the way to go. I've got a few words to say. Step into your best dress, paint your lips red. Open up your blue eyes, forget the things we said. I could be your lover, you can shine the light. Let's burn another candle, it's a Friday night.
All right, Timothy B. Flynn, Friday night. I got to go kiss Faye good night. She's in her vehicle. Hold on a second.
Blackbird singing in the dead of the night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise.
The Beatles from the White Album with the great song Blackbird. That's going to do it for the show. Yeah, I just wanted to do a brief Friday night. And it is 11:56 p.m. It's the end of my birthday. That's right, in 4 minutes. I want to thank you for listening to the program. And I hope you'll join me again on the next show. Have a good night. Well, good night to you, David Williams of the past. That again from my birthday last year. Now, you heard a chime there. That last one you heard, that was from then. The two you heard during the song Friday night, well, that was from now. You know, a couple of news stories to my phone. But I'm just going to go past those. I forgot. I got that Beatles story to do, so I'm going to do that one. Remember, I'm trying to keep that on the down low because I don't want my video to be blocked if I do a video, which is probably I will. But, again, I'm trying to keep it all on the down low in terms of all that stuff. Now, this is Hey Jude. It's posted out there by the Beatles. It starts off with a little bit of musical stuff, a little bit of fun. They're playing around, and the guy announces them, and it's a wonderful thing. That's not going to be a problem. What's going to be a problem is any extensive, long things. And
greatest tea room orchestra in the world. It's my pleasure to introduce now in their first live appearance for goodness knows how long in front of an audience, the Beatles.
It's now on!
And then Paul clears his throat, you know, and then it's pretty much off to the races with Hey Jude, a fantastic song. And one of those songs, in fact, that John Lennon did compliment his bandmate John complimented his bandmate Paul for having written a fine song, a great song about Julian Lennon. And I had that story before. Also, the story about Oh Darling, to make no mention, of course, of the story about the Beatles song Here, There, and Everywhere, in which it was very clear that, yes, John complimented Paul. Paul McCartney's belated recognition about John Lennon's role is by rockcelebrities.net. And in this case, it's written by Bitter Sevinc, S-E-V-I-N-C. I apologize to Bitter if I mispronounced. Is that a lady or a guy? I'm looking at the pictogram. That is a lady. I apologize, sir, if I mispronounce. So, their groundbreaking albums, fantastic sales figures, big crowds packed with millions of screaming teenagers, and many great stories about the Beatles make it seem like their massive success was inevitable. It was remarkable that they could maintain their artistic and commercial achievements throughout a decade of a musical journey thanks to their constant drive to produce and innovate. They acquired a unique position in the industry very early on, leading to a mass cultural upheaval. Although all the band members had something exceptional to add to the band's original works, John Lennon and Paul McCartney shined out as the fundamental creative forces of the band. Their fruitful songwriting partnership earned most of the credits in their vast catalog. The two unlocked the key, turning the Beatles into an unstoppable force. Let's see what Paul McCartney thinks about their special creative bond and John Lennon's contribution to his continuous musical self-improvement. Okay, so we're going to find out, how did John help Paul McCartney in their creative process? The famous songwriting partnership of John Lennon and Paul McCartney demonstrated the brilliance of working in pairs. However, the two also had an unstable and tense relationship from time to time. Yet they successfully turned this tension into a highly productive and creative force, along with the support from their bandmates and managing team. What happened to their song? There, I apologize for whatever reason it decided to pause up in YouTube. Anyway, they're highly productive and creative force, Lennon and McCartney. By agreement between the two previously, that's how you say it. Now, Paul McCartney also opened up about their prolific collaboration and the dynamics within the band during an interview with Barnes & Noble CEO James Daunt in November of 2021. Okay, so this happened last year. The musician explained that John would always intervene and share his thoughts when he wrote a song verse. The late singer would never hesitate to criticize it if he thought it was terrible. Paul now realized what a critical point it was in their creative process. Here is how Paul McCartney explained John Lennon's key role in their partnership. What is the deal with this song going off? Jeez. Okay, so here's how Paul said. If I write a song called It's Getting Better All the Time, then John would likely chirp in with, it couldn't get much worse. Now I realize, wow, that's very valuable in the creative process to have someone who doesn't just go, that's nice. So we had that ping-ponging technique. I'd write a line, he'd write a second line, or he'd write a line. It was really good. We were very helpful to one another. And now I can look back on it in a loving way and think, that was very special. Maybe the Beatles icon wasn't aware of how valuable it was back then. Still, Paul later recognized their creative partnership's brilliance and the excellent support they gave each other in every condition. He feels grateful to John Lennon for constantly pushing him to do better. Is that the end of it? I think that might be. I'm looking at a bunch of pictures here, and I think that is the end of it. Short and sweet and to the point. And I thank Bitter for doing that. Great thing for rockcelebrities.net. And there it goes off again. Okay, I guess it's just as well anyway. I'll finish up here the program with a song, and that'll do it for Friday. I think we'll do one of these great hits from Paul McCartney's solo career. Or how about this one, Paul McCartney and Wings with Listen to What the Man Said. Posted out there by Paul. Now you listen to what the man said. He's the man. And I always do. I always listen to what Paul says.
Okay. Very good to see you down in New Orleans, man. Yeah.
Anytime, any day, you can hear the people say that love is blind. Well, I don't know, but I say love is kind. Soldier boy kisses girl, leaves behind a tragic world, but he won't mind. He's in love and he says love is fine.
posted out there by Paul on YouTube. Listen to what the man says. What a fantastic tune that is. And thank you very much, folks, for listening to the morning show today. I hope you'll come back and join me on Monday. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Monday. Monday is off. The morning show is now only Tuesday through Friday, and that change happened a while back. But yeah, I'm back at my apartment now because, yes, I went mobile, right? When Paul says, take it away, I put it in drive and I was out of there. The Two Heart Sunglass Supermarket not far away. Thank you again for listening to the morning show, and I hope to see you back soon. Bye-bye now.